you're looking to make some money and you're looking to make it fast, you got that Deathpile clothing. Cellhound is for you.
We've got some good friends over there. Suzanne, she's been helping us out.
She's been liking our videos. I don't know if you've seen over on our YouTube page, but she's been making comments. She loves us, Adam. I don't know what we did right, but she loves us.
It's because you brought up Gene Simmons. That's why.
It didn't hurt.
Well, our friends at Cellhound are giving you a special offer. If you go on there, sign up for an account, it'll allow you, it'll help you to get your clothing items, your Deathpile, it'll help you to get listed a lot faster, which means more sales.
I mean, your clothing, your shoes, your women's handbag, purse type items.
I know you got a lot of those, so let's help you out. Let's get those items listed. Derek, how can they qualify for that?
Well, first off, they're going to let you do your first 3 for free. Just try it out and see if you like it, learn how it works. So, you can't beat free.
You're out of nothing.
Everyone knows if they're going to do it for free, you're going to get hooked.
If it's free, it's for me.
After that, you just put in Deathpiles, all capitalized, Deathpiles 25, and you'll get 25% off whatever subscription you decide to go with.
That sounds like a wonderful deal to help you make more money. And like I said, that's what they're all about, is helping you get that bottom line so you can enjoy the things you want to enjoy.
Get some holiday cash.
And spend it at everywhere you want on the internet.
Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Hey, D-Roy. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa Day, whatever you're celebrating this year.
Hey, Adam, I got some mistletoe. Mistletoe? Is that what it's called? I thought I just said something different. I got some mistletoe over here, so let's go find somebody, hark the herald, and make some figgy pudding.
Welcome to Deathpiles and Taxes, episode number 112. We are here enjoying the holidays. This is coming right after Christmas. Hope you had a very merry day with your family, whether that was...
It's a Boxing Day? Are we Boxing Day?
Boxing Day, whether that was virtually, in person, masked up, unmasked, whatever you're doing to celebrate. I hope you had a good time.
Hey, Adam, I didn't tell you, but I've had a Christmas miracle, we'll call it. Is that what you call it? A Christmas...
You made it through a half gallon of eggnog without,
No, I don't roll them dice.
Okay.
I don't roll them dice. If you remember me telling you about my tree...
Your tree.
Remember my tree? The line went miraculously after that episode aired. It just came back. It just worked.
It gave back the ghost.
It heard me saying we're getting a new one, and it decided that it wasn't done yet. It's like the Monty Python when they bring out the dead and the guy's yelling, "I'm not dead yet." My tree thought I got another year left in me, so it did. It sparked her up, and haven't been done the house yet, so. It will be its last year. However, I will be hitting some of these post-holiday sales and those trees that were going for $300 or $400, but a couple days ago, all of a sudden will be half price and things.
Last time you sparked it up, it was with one of your buddies from Nephi, and you ended up in prison again.
No, you can look at my record. I'm clean. I've been to a few Willie Nelson concerts and maybe got a little contact tracing, but other than that, I've been pretty good.
Contact tracing. Oh, wow.
That's what the kids call it nowadays. I'm pretty sure that's what the kids are calling it.
That's what 2020 has brought us. We're coming here to close. We're going to kind of throw this little episode in here after Christmas. And we said again, we hope you all enjoyed everything. Had a good, safe holiday.
We'll call it a Christmas episode, though. Yeah, I mean, I might even play some music still. Who knows? I'm kind of liking my Christmas music, if you can't tell.
All right. You've brought it right down that thing. Where are you on... the newer type Christmas music?
I'm a hater on a lot of things. Christmas music, I like it all. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to be happy. I like going and seeing the lights. A lot of these lights around have the music tied to it. Sometimes it's the newer stuff. Sometimes it's I like an old classic. I don't hate Mariah Carey like some of you guys do. I like some of the newer stuff. It's just good, positive, upbeat music at a time when it's dark by 5 o'clock at night and cold.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy it.
Good.
You the same?
Same way. Like I said, I got a little head start this year. I figured 2020 was the year of whatever. So we put it up like mid November, earlier than Thanksgiving, and I just didn't really care because I wanted the cheer in my home. I like it because, like I said, we have that Sirius XM. I just like it because you have 3 different Christmas.
Because you can't hide the money, guys.
It's a tax write-off.
It's
my accountant lets me put it on my taxes because
it's a satellite radio. Are we on there?
Yeah, of course. I go on there and we can put ourselves in there.
Well, let's get us a Sirius XM station.
Well, that's what I've been. If you get back to work and start doing instead of counting myrrh, frankincense, and gold, I mean, you stack that gold to the ceiling. I understand that, but
you don't even know how much colostrum I've counted last month.
What?
Yeah, that's a true story. You don't want to know.
I know what that is. That's the crazy part. We just had a newborn, so I kind of know where you're at on that.
Oh, wow, well, you do know. Yeah.
That stuff's worth gold.
Well, yeah. Anyways, no one here cares, but just a year in review, Adam, with the podcast and stuff. It's been a crazy year. Hopefully we settle down, like we say, next month. The new beginning. Hopefully it's a good 2021. Things start coming back to life. We'll see what happens with the vaccine and with everything else, but just in general, reselling-wise, how would you rate your year?
My year, I'm in that weird learning phase still. I haven't sold a lot. I have sold. I've probably sold this year, I don't know, maybe $2,500, about the same that I did in the previous year. But by that, I've only sold maybe I don't know, 7, 8, 10. My dollars per item is much higher. And like I said, I really prepared this year. I bought a lot of things, getting them graded because that's going to increase my value a lot. We are going to have a breakout, phenomenal 2021 year as I get some items back. We talked about last time doing our homework. And like I said, I kind of got into sports cards. I did my long shots, my guys that I bought that were really undervalued. Now they're getting starts in the NFL and their value goes up, and I bought it really low, and I've got the graded ones, so I feel good about that. So I feel like I really, really hit my stride, and we're going to reap the benefits in 2021.
Well, the smart thing is you've been consistently, so Adam went big into sports cards, and I've been there as well. I'm kind of a little more diversified, but like Adam's saying, that is kind of what we hit. And I did the same. My cost per item, I think, went up. I don't know that my sales went, but it's okay if you're not just shipping and not making a whole lot of profit to just sell 1 or 2 things and make the same that you would on 20 in previous years or whatever. But kind of the same thing. Adam's actually been being pretty smart. We talked about the graded cards. He's not the only one that got into them this year. PSA sold so many memberships that they sold out of memberships because they're just flooded and have too much coming in.
Realistically, my goal, because like I said, we're to that end of the year, setting my thing. My goal is I really feel like I can sell 100 items in that $200 rate. I want to hit 20 grand. That's my goal.
But Adam did something where he was still sending things in about every other week, new orders, so that when they do start popping back, which will come here in a few months, that he's going to be set with his inventory is going to be coming in every other week, give him enough time to list and get selling some things, but not overwhelming himself, hopefully, or building up just that death pile, which is really smart. And if that's something you can control, which some people... I mean, we haven't even got into, there's so many things with reselling we haven't got into. We did a little drop ship this year, but we haven't went like private label. Maybe that's something we'll get into next year. But if you can control what's coming in as far as what you're sourcing so you don't have to go out for it, which you're kind of doing in a way, then you just have to figure out how to list it and, price it.
And that's what you really learn when you list it, like all these hashtags, these names, where are you putting it? If you go back in the very beginning episode, which is a great place to start at the beginning.
I've never listened back to it. It's probably embarrassing.
No, it is great. It is gold.
It's our best episode. Most podcasts get better as they go. We started way hot, and now we're doing this.
We should have stopped at episode.
And we're talking about colostrum.
Derek talked about his Angus MacGyver jacket. Then you'll go back and you'll find it. But you have to pub your own stuff. What I mean by it, you get into these specialty groups that, hey, look at this item, or hey, what do you think about this? We've really kind of gotten that on our Boogers tickets.
Boogers,
the Facebook group, it gets into ticket stubs. And that's what all these people in that group, it's so micro-focused, which is amazing. You get all these people that are really, really excited about something. You know, if you post some picture of, I mean, some guy posted a picture of like the 86 World Cup, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing ever, because I knew like in 2 years that thing's going to be worth some gurs. It was like, wow, that's a really cool item. If you get in these groups, you can kind of, ask people, like say, hey, I've got this item, what do you think it's worth? And you're going to have people DMing you the whole time, offering you money.
Lowballing you like you wouldn't believe. That's when you know you got something, when you got 10 people lowballing you.
Derek, I'll give you 20.
I'll give you $20 cash.
Yes.
And credit at my store for up to $50 if you will send that directly to me, USPS overnight.
Derek, will you take $250?
Yeah, no kidding.
So that's kind of, when I get into it, you talk about the items that you have, Derek, he's kind of got that wide, broad thing. I'm trying to get a little more narrow niche because I just...
And either way, it's whatever you do is what you do.
But people will give you information.
Well, that's a good thing too. It's not just with cards or with tickets. Kind of like what Adam's been saying. Get in these groups. If you're selling Louis Vuitton bags, or if you're selling, fish lures that are bobbers, or anywhere in between, there are groups where people specialize in this. And what we got now with social media is kind of extraordinary, that you can find people that sell like things or collect like things, Disney mugs to Disney snow globes to, women's high-fashioned, shoes, Versace.
Yeah.
It's just all over, cars, whatever. And there's people that are experts, and that's what they do. And you go in there and you can learn what things are valued, what's worth things, what's not worth, where you can find things, sourcing information. Even if you're not in a reseller type group of that, if you just go find people that are interested in that, and you can learn things. Yeah. I'm not the biggest video game player in the world anymore. Just don't have to. I'd love to be, but it's just not where I'm at right now. Maybe if I retire here in about 20 years, I can really hit Mario up again. But knowing, keeping connections with people and people at work keeping telling me that when that Xbox was coming out and PlayStation 5, hey, are you going to go get this? Hey, are you going to take the day off? Are you going to do this? Talking to my brother, who's younger than me and stuff, I was able to source and make, a few $100s around Christmas or however much it adds up to be. Netted. Yes. And this wasn't something that it just kind of fell in my lap.
Just happened.
But I knew it would sell. And because, you keep just pokers in the fire, so to speak. And it doesn't take a whole lot.
So two things that you hit on there. Like I said, the perfect example, I was looking at this the other day. Gary V on Twitter, Derek's close personal Twitter buddy.
Hell yeah, we DM all the time.
Yeah, so he brought up this thing asking about sports.
He usually asks me what he should post and stuff, and he has a couple options. And I tell him, I help him out a lot.
Yeah, so it talks about this sports cards, and he says, one of the greatest undervalued cards. And you have, 500 posts talking about what people think, and you're like, oh, well, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. Just different things. One guy posted some random Doug Williams. He was the quarterback of the Washington Redskins, first African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And I'm like, wow, that's a very monumental thing. I'm going to get in on that. And his cards were literally $1. $1. So I went on there and got a couple because I'm like, this is great. I'll send them off to PSA. And if I flip it for $100 in 2, 3, 5 years, okay, I spend $10 and I make $100. That's pretty easy. If it takes me I don't really care because you set it and forget it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And some of this is long-term investments, and some of it's quick flips. And that's kind of with a lot of the bolos and things around Christmas. Is you're looking for a quick flip. You got a month or so to do it, and you're just trying to make money and churn and pump out product and turn inventory as fast as possible. But then you got I got that NBA Finals ticket, right?
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan, when he beat the Jazz, I procured a ticket that belonged to Jerry Sloan. His wife, anyways, he was on the bench coaching that game, I believe, was what he was doing at the time. And there's a lot of heartache associated with that. If you go back, we got several episodes dedicated to it.
Unless you're a fan of Michael Jordan.
Which more people are than Karl Malone, come to find out. And so got this got this graded, and I got it up for, I mean, kind of like what Bill said, kind of a, hey, look what I got price.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm cooler than you, because it's the only one that exists from PSA that's been graded, and knowing that the Delta Center only holded what was it, 19911.
Yeah.
19911, because Larry liked that 911 number. Anyway, so less than 20,000 of these ever even existed.
Yeah.
It's been, 2 decades or so, and I'm the only one that's got one on the internet anyways. It's been great. Been graded, because you can look at the population report. So I put a high number on there, and that's one of those, like we're saying, I'll sit on it for, 20, 30 years. I'm not in a big hurry to sell it, but if somebody wants to buy it for 50,000 or 10,000 or whatever, hey, I'll here you go.
You've done pretty well on some memorabilia items.
Yeah, and some of that's just luck of the draw, but other things, like Adam's saying, if you go in and just read some, not the comments of the trolls, but people that are actually engaged. So Gary V talks a lot about sports cards. Adam sells sports cards. Adam follows Gary V. Gary V's social media will pop this up, and people that are trying to impress Gary V will show him all their secrets that they wouldn't tell Adam. If Adam's like, hey fellas, what's some good sports cards? I'm just trying to get some things graded, and they'd say, go pound sand, kid, figure it out for yourself. But they're hoping Gary will retweet them or buy the card from them, and they're like, hey, check this out. And Adam strolls by and says, hey, that's a good idea. Let me go buy that right now. It's just using social media. A lot of us kill time on it, and a lot of us just kind of waste time on it. But if you're able to make that to where you're actually utilizing it and getting some value and some education while you're doing those things, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, looking one up, I mean, if sports cards aren't your thing, you're probably into Star Wars, because you usually, I mean, not painting any broad pictures, but...
Adam Beasley at AdamUpAccounting.com. Go leave him a review on Google.
It's just, that's the true statement. I mean, so anyways, he asked about what's Darth Vader's rookie card. So somebody posted this card from 1977, and that is really cool. Like, that is a cool card that I never would have thought of.
Well, see, that's the thing. I got into some Batman cards, 1966, I believe, Batman cards.
Those are some
I got into
cards.
some early Spider-Man Marvel stuff. Marvel's huge right now, and it's going to get just bigger. My belief is, I mean, because with the Disney streaming service, they're going to do a lot of the TV shows, a lot of the movies are coming out. Adam, do you know what the Infinity War is with the Avengers? Do you get into any of that?
I'm not into any of that.
Okay. You don't have to be. I found this card that, I mean, it all comes from the comic books, but the comic books are getting, like, sky-high price, and they have been for a long time. But there's this character in there that has the glove, and he gets all these stones. And anyways, long story short, I found a card that was from the Infinity Wars, which this movie was named after. That was a big 2-part series. But I found the card associated with it. And I haven't looked up on PSA. I haven't sent it in yet. But I'm guessing I'm going to be one of the only people that has this card graded. And with that, I mean, the people that love that movie, that love that kind of a thing, that are into Marvel, I mean, that's a really cool thing. I mean, for me to even see it, I thought it was a really cool card and thing to see. So, just going with that, it doesn't have to be sports cards. It doesn't have to be, whatever we're peddling at the time or whatever we're into.
Wow.
Figure out what you like. Adam's into this card thing now. He's done some searching. What do you got you?
So I got some 1977 Darth Vader rookie cards.
And how much are they going for?
It depends on which one you're looking for. That's what you want to find the low one and sell for high.
Well, Adam's also into Star Wars.
No.
Well, you're buying cards. You can sell them.
I might. Like, this actually is the one thing that...
You weren't into soccer a year ago.
That's true. That's a good... I'm into what can make me money. That interests me. That's man, I don't know. This just kind of opened my eyes a little bit. And this is exactly what happens. I usually get down some weird rabbit hole because it's the quantity. Just like Derek said, there's only so many 19,911 of these tickets that even existed in year one. And then you have to look at saying, okay, we're a score and 25 years later.
A fortnight passed.
I don't know what that means. Then the quantity is down, and people are going to want it. Like, when you see the right thing, and then what happens is you get on your Star Wars whatever buddy list and your groups, and then you say, oh man, look what I just got. That's the coolest thing ever, I gotta have.
Well, here's the thing too. With a lot of the Star Wars figures, I mean, the figures just go for crazy prices, especially that are in good condition and the toys and all that. But it gets to a point to where only super rich people can buy some of that stuff, right? And so you gotta keep going down a little further down the ladder to where it gets to where more of your common man can buy something like that. So if you can find a card, but it's still an original first edition, whatever, and you get it graded and it comes out looking cool, I mean, you might not be able to go pick up the first ever Darth Vader figure that came out, in its original packaging, because that's going to cost a buco bucks. But if you can get this card, and you can get it for, a few bucks, and you get it to where it's graded and comes across as a 10 or whatever, you can sell it for a few hundred or a few thousand, or you hold on to it to where it becomes more valuable. That's just some good investing.
I think we might have a breakthrough. I think I might have just hit the Star Wars interest button.
I think Adam's going to go home and watch the movies, know what's cool and not in them now, which is fine.
I think I might. I might.
Well, here's the thing, too. I bet there's little obscure characters that are kind of popular that we don't know about, right? Like, there's something that just kind of is, if you're in it, you know, but if not, you don't know. And if you find that card and you know what it is, where we just scan over because it's not one of the major characters that we know about, it might actually be, a very limited thing. Kind of like with the He-Man action figures, which I got plenty of because they didn't go for Christmas like I thought they were going to. Some of the more smaller type characters or role type characters you had with some of those figures were going for more money than the He-Man himself because they weren't as massively produced, but the people still had a fondness for them. So just an idea to think about there. It's not always the big name attraction. So
I just found something. I just found something that got my interest, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Is if you're interested in it, you can go down a rabbit hole. And the difference is I'm going to learn, I'm going to educate myself on some things, spend a little bit of money, but I'm going to make my money back and some.
Well, here's the thing. We talk about with sports guys like, Hulk Hogan or Michael Jordan, their career's already over, their legacy's developed or whatever. Hey, Star Wars has been a beloved movie for decades. It's over as well. I mean, some of this pop culture stuff, right? Like Spider-Man or Batman, like the early years, they're done. It's the legacy's there. So it's kind of the same idea with what we've been doing with sports cards, Adam. I mean, this
is perfect, man. It's small, it's compact. I mean, I don't have to go to the thrift stores, although I still want to get back there. We still got to get our Brian trip up there to
and Jimmy
to the what do you want to call it? The triple corner, the
Thrifters Row, I believe.
Thrifters Row up there in O Town, or I don't know where that is.
It's a little south of there. It's by Layton, yeah.
So we'll get it. But that, man, see, just like I said, that one thing, looking on social media, people asking questions that really sparked I mean, this is Darth Vader, one of the most iconic figures ever. This is really his rookie card, and guys are going to get into cards. I mean, I can buy it right now for $13. I'll send it in and get graded. Who knows? I'll bet money right now. I bet you I could sell it for at least $150 in the next.
Hey, if you get into it though, don't bend your Wookiee cards.
I will not bend my Wookiee. I will play with my R2-D2 on a limited basis. I'll make sure that everything is taken care of.
Well, what else have we learned this year? What's our big takeaway?
Our big takeaway is try something. Like it says, I would have never thought about this. I would have never thought about soccer cards. And the best part is we can stamp this episode, time it in 2021. When we do this in 2022, whatever, in 2 years from now, I am going to have made thousands.
I was going to have more Darth Vader cards than you can shake a stick at.
I will then, but thousands and potentially tens of thousands of dollars in soccer cards.
My takeaway for the year is, if you told us a year ago, hey, you can't go thrifting, you can't go to yard sales, are you going to be able to resell? I said no. I mean, it's not possible. Stores are going to be limited. But what we've learned is you can be resilient and you can find other places. There's always somewhere to source. There's always an opportunity to get things. And so I just think my takeaway with the year is just that, is as far as you can be as resourceful as you want. So as soon as things start getting back to normal, as soon as yard sales are starting to be more prevalent across the country, you're able to go to more thrift stores. Stores are opened up. You're not on account of how many people can go in at a time. We're going to get complacent. We're going to get back to kind of how we were before. Just like the Depression people, Adam, did you have any family members that were around during the Depression?
Yep, Grandma.
Did Grandma ever throw away tinfoil?
No, they rewrapped.
After Christmas, did they keep it?
Oh, they had, like, she showed me how they wrapped up, their paper, their wrapping. Just the funny thing is, she still folds her paper or her plastic bags from Walmart.
If she sees a penny on the ground, does she walk by it?
Oh, heavens no.
So they learned something from the Depression. I want us to learn something from this pandemic as far as our reselling knowledge is don't take what we have for granted. Utilize all the places that we can, but don't ever be somebody that says, oh, I can't find anything, I can't source anything, because this year we learned that if you want to, you can find it.
You got to be adaptable.
Be adaptable, be willing to change. Hey, maybe card market becomes saturated and all of a sudden our card values go crazy down. Who knows? It could happen.
Yep.
We can't just sit there and cry for ourselves and say, oh, I guess we're done now. It's no. Shift, change course, find something else.
Yep.
Find another path. There's plenty of paths going up that mountain, and it all leads to that dollar bill bowl of magical gizmos. I don't know.
I will tell you what I did.
Flingers.
What I did miss, because was it earlier this year or was it last year that we spoke at eBay?
It had to have been last year. This year's pretty much since, it might have been the very first. Since about February or March, they haven't had any of the get-togethers.
I guess that's the part I missed, and I know that that's the problem, is we were trending. We wanted to get to that eBay Open down in Vegas, and they canceled it because we heard the big hitters were coming in. I mean,
we had some big aspirations, and we had some big plans, and no doubt we would have done it. But I do miss going to our meetup group and being with Bill and some of those guys, because it was just an opportunity to learn from other people and what they're doing and what works for them. And it's kind of fun, because when you get reselling or when you go online and you get called a scumbag and a scalper and all you guys are horrible, it's nice to get in a room of people and they're all good, decent people, and kind of learn from each other.
Yeah, and like I said, and it's the same thing is, no matter where I go, everyone has a tax question. That's just what it is. 2 weeks ago, I was out, in our local neighborhood. We had a food drive, can drive, and kind of what we did is we did an exchange. We dropped off some cinnamon rolls and some the good chocolate milk, and then they gave it canned goods, and we took it to the local food bank. But I had two people that stopped me while I was there. Hey, I got a question. Last year we paid so much. What do you think we could do? Like, hey, here's my phone number. Call me and I'll look at it.
I need to start a non-profit that can just give me money or something. Adam's neighborhood, they got too much money. Mine were locking our doors and helping people don't steal our Amazon gifts.
We're giving canned goods to people.
We got our SpaghettiOs. You're giving them to me.
Everybody.
I went to the food pantry that same night, and I got some pretty good high-quality things.
Yeah, and then you sell them on the marketplace. I know the kind of guy you are.
I sell them on eBay. I can put them on the marketplace. People know that was their can of SpaghettiOs that they just gave away.
You get the local donations from the religious affiliations, and then you're flipping on the internet.
I'm not quite that bad.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet. I haven't thought about some of this stuff.
Yeah, so 2020 was a good year. I mean, like, one thing that I've done too.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was a year, all right.
Oh, it was a great year, record breaking for me.
I guess it was. Online sales were record breaking. A lot of people were selling the. If you remember back when the hand sanitizer and toilet paper, people were hoarding, and they're starting to hoard toilet paper again, apparently. But
and like same thing. If you keep a record, this is going to sound really strange, but keep a record of all the hand sanitizer you bought, purchased, where it was, the lot numbers. Take some pictures, because in 10 years, when you see these huge lawsuits come out, were you affected by 2020 pandemic and use whatever hand sanitizer?
Did you inject hand sanitizer into your body?
Did you drink bleach?
Oh, man. Did you catch the corona even though you were trying to avoid it like the plague that it was?
Yeah. You have documents saying, hey,
I got
documents. So the other part of 2020 that I really liked is learning more of the virtual. I was very against it, but I got an actual camera for my computer. Now people, I meet virtually. It's just like the same, minus the travel time. I miss still the interaction, but you can still have an interaction.
And I think a lot of that's going to stay. I think a lot of the working at home stuff, a lot of the virtual meeting and stuff. I mean, it's not all going to go away, and that's kind of what I'm saying is adapt with what you've learned, and don't forget just because things are normal, don't go back to being complacent with things. I think that's, and then if you've ever met anyone from the Depressions, what I brought up, they haven't.
No, they, just like you're saying, is they appreciate what they have, they're willing to learn, but don't over, I don't know, what would you call it?
Get too confident, I don't know, it's just, you kind of forget your past a little bit.
Yeah, don't become complacent, but also don't, forget where you came from.
Yeah, so, I don't know, Adam. I think it was a good year. It was an interesting year. It's a year that we'll be talking about for probably years to come. How many times can I say year in a sentence? Quite a few.
Ever.
Ever.
And the weird thing is, I'll always have the mark. I'll always be able to know when it was because my son was born in the hospital, the day before the world shut down. There's an official start to the pandemic. It's when Rudy Gobert got tested positive.
You know where I was that night?
I don't know.
I was at a wrestling event. The AEW Dynamite was up at the Salt Lake, and I was on the front row. And we went in, and everything was normal. We were in a big crowd, arena of people. And the second we came out, we got in the car, and it was Rudy Gobert. The NBA shut down. That was the last show that the AEW wrestling did. Besides, the guy that owns the Jaguars. They now they do all their stuff out of a place down by the Jaguar Stadium.
Shaka Khan.
And they have Tony Khan. Well, it's his son. Yeah. And so they do a lot of stuff there, but they haven't been back on the road. They have limited audience now. But anyways, the world just basically, Tom Hanks had it, Rudy Gobert had it, and we shut down.
Yeah, and Rudy Gobert, the Frenchman who was here in Utah. I mean,
I think it was March.
It was
March 11th.
It was March. My son was born on March 9th, so
right there.
It was March 10th, 11th, kind of right in that is when they shut everything down. But that's we have that unique. The world order happened right then, and we will be talking about it for years. But learn a lot, like it says. Oh man, I don't know if I dare share this on the air.
I can always edit it.
Okay. If you weren't able to adapt, selling things online were amazing. And maybe I'll have this friend on. We talked about selling different items online. One thing were academic preparation. Helping with student plans, teacher plans. Helping things because everything kind of went there. I know we talked about friend Pelican. I'm going to just say he didn't try hard enough. He didn't try hard. I have somebody that I know. They were able to go on and do this, and they sold well into the $200s of thousands of dollars of items this year of just downloadable plans.
That was with a lot of homeschooling stuff. It's teachers to teachers, I think, was the website. I think there's probably a few others, but basically you just put up your plan somehow in the PDF form. My sister was going to do it as well. I haven't followed up with her.
Mallory, you need to do it. Colbert, you better get your wife to make. There's money to be made.
There's money to be made, and I think that's another thing. A lot of the homeschooling and stuff like that probably isn't going to go quite as far away either. I think some people really enjoy it, some people hate it, but it's one of those things where if you have the sourcing material out there, you've already done the work.
Absolutely.
And that's one of those things that's kind of a perpetual. You put it up once and it will sell in perpetuity. Hopefully for decades.
And children, I know that they're not going away. Like this is, we're not going negative. We still have more people coming into the world than going out of the world. So we're not quite to that point.
We haven't hit the break-even point yet.
No, but we are living longer. We are not having as many children as we did in the past, but that number is still growing.
It's another thing with the year coming up. You set personal goals and resolutions and things. Do some with your business and reselling. What do you want to make? How much money do you want to make this year? In order to do that, how many things are you have to sell? How many things are you going to list? Where are you going to buy? Where are you going to source? Think about all that. Because if you actually write it down or make a goal, it becomes real. It's not in your head. It's not just, I think I can do this or I want to do that. I had a goal a couple of years ago, and I wanted to make enough money to take my wife to Hawaii, which seemed insane, coming from where I'd been and things like that. If you go back and listen to the first episodes, you can hear, all my grievances about life and how beat down, and I was making $7.50 an hour or whatever I was making. But that seemed impossible at the time. But then it became to a thing to where it wasn't even that hard to do. It was, when we went, we had a great time, and now I got some other personal goals and things I'm working on that I'll talk about at the end of next year or the year after that. and it's cool.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those things where you can look back and see growth, and where you became a better business person, where you found more, like you're saying, things to get into, things to sell, and then you're making more profit because of it. So it's all good stuff.
And I will share one thing too, is the nice part is these financial goals. The best thing that you can do is when you go to do your taxes, you can very easily, depending on who prepared your taxes, you can get a 5-year, summary. And you can pull up how much money you've made over the last 5 years. And hopefully every single year that continues to go up. One of my goals is, like I said, I wanted to hit that 6 figures. I wanted to be, 6-figure income that I brought home. And that was a goal that I set years and years ago. And now I'm hitting it. And, and I didn't want to go below it. This year in 2020 is the first year that I ever put money into a retirement. I mean, I'm self-employed, but, luckily I have some really intelligent people that I work with. Shout out to Brian's wife. She's amazing. She does great things here.
Second favorite, Brian's wife. I don't want it to be confused with Brian in New York's wife.
What's it going to take for Brian to move up the list?
It's set in stone. I love Brian. He's a great guy. I love both of them. He just first Brian has a special place. He took care of me.
Okay, well, get him
in the reselling game. He may have turned me on to Hatchimals and fingerlings. He's a good dude.
I'm glad Brian turned you on.
I'm glad he did too. Where we wouldn't even have this podcast had he not.
That's true. Thank you, Brian. First favorite, not second favorite.
Well, both.
Well, yes.
And your wife.
So, but I put money in retirement. Like I had an actual.
I'm just glad you could remember where, because I'll get on those things where I can't ever remember, and I try to go back to something. You remembered. I remembered it was retirement, folks.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of brains that I can't even knock you on that one.
Well, retirement, like I said, putting money into retirement, we set a good chunk in. I want to start maxing that out so that now I'm at, I'm 39. And like I said, if I start putting money in there, it's going to multiply. And like I said, I'm hoping by the time I'm, ready to retire at whatever age, I'm going to have more than
75.
No. I'm never really going to retire, but then I'll have more than $1 million.
We're going to move to Boca Raton.
That's right.
We're going to play some shuffleboard, some canasta.
And we're still going to be doing the podcast.
And selling things on the internet, seashells that we find out at the beach at 6 in the morning because we go for walks.
We'll still be going to thrift stores.
And yelling about things at the breakfast.
Ooh, key lime pie.
The old ham and eggers.
Oh, man. Key lime pie. That sounds good to me right now.
And key lime pie sounds wonderful.
Oh, I hope by then they still have McRibs.
It will come back for a limited time. We'll tell the kids you don't know what you're missing. How many? So going with McRibs. How many McRibs have you had in the last week, Adam?
7. I double dipped yesterday. I went and did 2 because after I've had one, I'm always like, man, I wish I had another one. About 1 3/4 is where you want.
That's the sweet spot. After that, it's diminishing returns.
Yeah, that last quarter is like, oh man. Speaking of, probably second favorite, your second, my first. His wife's never tried a McRib.
You gotta try it. It's one of those things you just gotta try.
So I think tomorrow I'm gonna get some, and I'm gonna just kind of split it because the other gal with me, she's never had one either.
I mean, you can't say that it's good, but it's something you gotta try. It's one of those things that's like, there's some nostalgia there. It's kind of like when you buy your Darth Vader card from Adam on eBay. It's like, well, was it even that cool of a card? Yeah, it was. To you it is. To other people, they're just like, oh, that's fine. That's how the McRib is, isn't it?
You just gotta try it once.
If it was on the menu all day, every day, it would be nothing more than a cheeseburger. Yeah. But since they take it away from you, when it comes back, it's like, well, it might not be back for 5 years. I don't know when this thing's coming back, and then you go nuts.
Friend of the show, Pelican, I love his motto in life. He'll try anything twice.
But the McRib's not his favorite.
Yeah, but he's tried it more than twice. I can guarantee you that.
I can guarantee you that. Retirement, Adam. You were talking about how you're going to be a millionaire.
Goals, setting goals, financial goals, tax returns, putting money in retirement, getting some whatever debt you have paid off. I mean, when you're getting to this, whatever age in life you are, whether you're in your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever age you are, there's no reason to think that it's over or I can't do it, I can't sell it.
Well, that's the great thing about reselling, right? You can start basically when you're a teenager or below, and you can go clear up till they're carrying that pine box. Yeah. Like, there's no, you're too old to do this or you're too young to figure this out. And both have their perks, right? The older you are, you've seen a lot, you're seasoned, you know what things are, Sometimes you know a lot more than a lot of people give you credit for. And when you're young, you're hip. You know what the new trends are.
Yes.
You know what's coming up the pipeline and things that other people might overlook. And then me and Adam are somewhere in between. And sometimes we, they say a broke clock's right twice a day. And sometimes we're that broke clock and we're right.
That's the great way to put it.
That's why I put it that way.
So,
So Adam has to go and see if we're done for the year.
well, no, I think we'll still have one more after this. Or will it? I can't. We're getting close.
We're getting close.
But the cool part is we look at this, because we kind of have this broken up schedule. We are coming up on 2 years from the first time we did this.
And then some of you have listened for all 2 years. That's the crazy part to me.
And the problem is now we're going to bring it back. Now we're getting here ready to close out. The worst. I can't go that deep. The most heartening thing that hit the Deathpiles and Taxes podcast was when Derek got the Rona.
Yeah, you're trying to guilt me into being sick, Ab. I couldn't help it.
We 100% consistently, we posted one episode every single week minimum for almost 2 year period. He got the Rona. He almost died. We missed a week. We the Rona won that week.
I'm not even going to give it any. I've posted more than weeks that we've had.
What the Rona
If
won?
we count bonus shows and things that put out, we are ahead of the game.
The Rona won the battle.
Just don't listen to one of those Husky sections till that week of the Rona, and you're fine.
Not going to win the war.
Put some in the Rona is about to be eradicated.
The Rona's going.
I'm trying to find a way to weasel myself up in line. All these people saying they're not going to take the shots and stuff. We can get into all that, but I'm glad to take theirs. If you're a first responder that doesn't want it, or whatever, an old person at the retirement home, I will gladly take your shot. Because I don't want that Rona ever again. And won't let me forget that when I was on my deathbed, I didn't put up a podcast. We didn't even record one. I was just trying to breathe. That was my mistake. I was just trying to get out of bed and breathe.
I brought you soup. What else did you want?
You brought me soup after the podcast hadn't been there to try and get me better. That was the whole thing. I thought you cared about me and my health, me and my wife. You just wanted the podcast to come back up.
The listeners needed it. It's more than just your health.
Well, what you could have done, now you could have brought in a guest host, a special person to come in and try to just be a co-host for the week.
Oh, couldn't have.
And I would probably just put it straight up. I wouldn't have edited it, but we could have done. You could have had Pelican. You could have had Brian, their second favorite Brian. You could have had JCP, or you could have had. We have a lot of guys. We probably could have found a female that resells that's doing well, which there are plenty.
Yes.
Mike Painter would have been glad to come in. You probably could have got my dad. He's been wanting to come on for a while, and he wasn't dead at the time. With the Rona like I was, so.
I got a special. I think we're going to hit it. We're going to
You got Colbert or Aaron.
Father's Day edition.
My mom probably would have done. Your mom, your wife that sells with you might have came on. I'm just saying you had options.
You're right. I'll remember that next time the Rona hits you the second.
It's not hitting me the second time.
Okay.
It's not gonna. If it does, we'll probably not have a podcast. I'll probably die.
Well,
I'll probably be dead, and you'll say, "Well, let's go buy all Derek's." I know he had some good. Holly was a good man, but this ticket's a little overpriced. I'll give you $20 for it.
He had some real foresight. He got that Elvis. He got the Beatles.
Hey, when's that PSA stuff coming? Can you just ship that over to me when that comes in?
Well, some of it's mine.
That's exact. See, that's what you're. Sometimes I'll just go through it and. Sorry about your loss, but some of that is mine.
I make sure your stuff got taken care of.
Yeah, I'll sell it. I'll give you half of what. I got to do a little work here, but
I know what he paid for it.
I know he might have told you it cost. I think he was inflating prices.
I got the GoDaddy account. I see what
came through now. That was the market back in 2020. It was a little hotter than it is now.
Well, it's been great. It's been real. It's been fun. 2020's been an interesting year. We'll hit one more, but D-Roy, you got anything else? Are we certain?
I think we're certain. I'm certain. I've been counting some colostrum for the year, and now I'm probably moved over to green caps, not to be confused with white caps or bottles. 10,000 per box, 16 boxes per layer, 5 layers per pallet, and probably 7 pallets per row. Gotta bring them all down. This is the life of it. This is why you want to resell full time and own your time.
Derek just hit a deep dive before we end. If you get real interested, this is the deepest, darkest bolo you're gonna find. If you know what colostrum is, find out. Go on the internet, find out what that and the related item sells with it, and the amount it goes for per ounce. If you have a spouse that is in that stage of life, you're going to get a significant, you could buy a Corvette if you sold ounces of this.
Or you can work for a company that may or may not have multi-level cow colostrum for sale, and that's as far as I'm going to go because I'm not going to lose my job. But there are two things there for certain, Adam, and that would be Deathpiles
and taxes.
Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Wrap your presents to your darling from you. Pretty pencils to write I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Crowded streets, busy feet hustle by him. Downtown shoppers, Christmas is nigh, and there he sits all alone on the sidewalk, hoping that you won't pass him by. Should you stop? Better not. Much too busy. You better hurry. My, how time does fly. the distance, the ringing of laughter. And in the midst of the laughter he cried, pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue, wrap your presents to your darling from you. Pretty pencils to write I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue, wrap your presents to your darling from you. Pretty pencils to write I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of